Welcome to the 15th Floor, a Radiohead reaction podcast where a Gen X father tries to convince his Gen Z son that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time by introducing him to Radiohead music one song at a time. You'll hear him react to that song for the first time, and I'll react and tell him why and you why I believe it is part of that hypothesis, that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time. A couple of announcements right off the bat. One, we do plan on doing a lot more viewer requests. We've got a lot of viewer requests, so we're going to ask you to keep getting those in. If you've mentioned one several times, believe me, it's on the list. If you're a regular commenter, then we will definitely get to basically all of those the people who regularly comment, because we owe it to them. They've been good. So more viewer requests are coming. We might even start getting one of those a week. Then the other thing is, I know we're not huge. We don't have that many subscribers and viewers, but we'd like to maybe do a mailbag episode. If you have any questions for us, any questions can be about Radiohead, can be about my opinion about some other band, your opinion, Jacob's opinion about some other band, any personal questions that we decide we want to answer. But if you're interested in a mailbag episode, then leave a mailbag question, because those episodes only work if there's questions to answer. We're planning some other fun episodes where we can start doing some rankings and lists and top tens and whatever the case may be. So keep those ideas coming. We've already gotten a couple. More of those would be good as well. We were going to go to a B-side, and I have the B-side in mind, but I wasn't feeling ready for that, and I wanted to go to a song that I'm not going to give away too much about, but we're going to listen to Motion Picture Soundtrack off of Kid A, 2000's Kid A. Motion Picture Soundtrack, beside maybe Optimistic, is the most straight-laced song on Kid A. This song it's the closer. It's the album closer. This is an old song, very old song. Tom York wrote this around the same time he wrote Creep. So late 80s, early 90s. I've seen some sources say that it was the same day, but I think that's hardly something you could fact check necessarily. Even Tom York, if he said it, would probably not be sure. They began playing it live during the OK Computer tour. Tom wanted the song included on OK Computer, was kind of voted against that. It's also one that there are several versions of on mini discs Hacked. My favorite versions of this song are absolutely those ones. It has a third verse, the Beautiful Angel verse, that I love. It has some very unique parts to it. But we are going to listen to the studio recording version. So, as much as I love those other versions, this is what Radiohead put out to the world, and we're going to listen to that one from Kid A.
Cheap sex and sad films help me get where I belong. I think you're crazy, maybe. I think you're crazy.
I don't know what to think of this song. All I'm hearing right now is what sounds like, it probably isn't, but an organ pipe organ.
It's not a pipe organ, it's a pump organ. There are pipes with reeds in it, And he is to play the pump organ. You put your feet on these pedals. Sometimes it's one pedal. You've seen that one that looks like a sewing machine, or two different pedals. And you have to just keep your feet moving to pump the air from the bellows through the pipes that flow through the reeds to play the sound. The more rapid you pump your feet, the louder it gets. Very cool sounding instrument. Very unique. On tour, they were just using a Prophet 5 or a Hammond organ. He could use a Hammond organ and get some similar sound. But this is absolutely in studio a pump organ. Very cool. The same pump organ they use in Thinking About You in Pablo Honey. It's a really cool instrument. The use of the pump organ is so perfect with the theme of this song, the emotion of this song, which you can't overlook. Got to get into here. When they were playing this song live before Kid A, it was usually as part of an encore where Tom was playing the song with just an acoustic guitar. You can hear many versions of that online or in mini discs hacked. Very good versions, extra verse, all good.
Stop
As a song, I don't think I liked it, but as a final song to an album, the final track, I think it did good. Especially, of course, with the last line, "I'll see you in the next life." I don't know. It's just weird.
This song is all emotion to me. The tune is so pleading. It speaks to the wood-paneled walls of my heart. It is just so... It's more than melody. You caught the harp, which is a harp, but it's not a harp. They don't have an in-studio harp. But those glissandos are... Yeah, harp glissandos. And very cool. The idea of bringing in the harp and then the bass being a double bass played with a bow. It's a double bass, so it's just one of those massive basses with Colin playing it with a bow. The idea of the harp and the bass was to get a feel for these old movies, like old Disney movies. I mean, you can hear that ending sounds like it's from an old Disney classic movie. And I think they nailed that sound well, even though I don't think that they would admit that's kind of what they're going for. But the song is called Motion Picture Soundtrack, and they cleverly get that element from the double bass, which you don't hear very often, and the harp, which you don't hear very often in rock music or in popular music. The last chorus gets so exciting that, again, perfectly dial in that late 50s or mid-50s Disney sound. What sounds like a chorus, a choral vocal, is actually, and this is just, oh man, we got the pump organ, and then we add the mellotron and the Owen Martineau. So we're like hitting some of the most unique but classic Radiohead things. The On Martineau, of course, is Johnny's baby that he's just learning how to use here. Is the instrument that looks like a keyboard, but it has a ring on a string that he can move that ring up and down the string and kind of get a gliding effect from it. Think Good Vibrations from the Beach Boys. The Mellotron is more of a way to play samples back. You press down a button, the tape gets pulled through, and then you release it, and it plays that tape, which is a sample. So something that you pre-recorded. Before you could do that digitally, you had to do it with something like a Mellotron. They use a Mellotron because it has a unique sudden start and stop sound. The theme of the song is, there could be some argument, but it's definitely a usher you into heaven song. Some people say it's about suicide, red wine and sleeping pills, I'll see you in the next life, red wine and sleeping pills help me get back in your arms, like as if I do this thing I'll die and we'll be together again. But Tom York has kind of a little bit poo-pooed that idea, but leaves it open to interpretation. But it definitely, the harp sound is meant to sound like the slow elevation into heaven after death. Why this song isn't more popular among Radiohead fans, I don't understand. And I'm going to get to this now. You didn't hear me say it was requested by so-and-so. I'm sorry if you requested Motion Picture Soundtrack and I missed it somehow, but I have nobody listed this as a song they requested. I don't get that. I think it is an excellent song to finish this album. An album where Tom firmly declared he was done with melody and just was interested in rhythm, and then he does this, and the melody is so good. It goes beyond melody. I've never gotten tired of this song. I've never, ever. I don't skip any Radiohead song, really. I don't think ever, even if I'm not in the mood or whatever the case may be, but I have never skipped Motion Picture Soundtrack. I could have just listened to Rage Against the Machine, and I would still listen to Motion Picture Soundtrack.
The way those harps are played, they don't sound happy. I don't know what they sound like. They sound like nothing in a way.
Oh, I thought,
like in the mood. I don't know.
I was going with you for a second. I was like, oh yeah, maybe not happy harps. I like that because I think harps always sound happy.
Yeah, they always do.
It's the music of angels, so they always sound beautiful to me. But I was kind of going there. I was like, wait a minute. What if it's more ominous than anything else?
Yeah. Maybe I'm not a music fan. Maybe I don't know true music well enough to understand. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if I don't care for it. It's just there. Reaction to this first one is just a 5.
We just listened to a couple of the alternate versions, Mini Discs Act and Okay Not Okay.
Yeah, and the one with the piano, I feel like in the third verse, I feel like that brought a little bit more emotion. Mm-hmm. But that pump organ and the harps don't do anything emotional for me, so it just,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Help me out, everybody. He's given it a 5, which is really not good. It's not terrible, but it means it's not showing up on any replays or anything like that. I know someone's going to say something about where it fits in the album. Of course, it's a closer, and you don't hear the whole album. The closer might not have all the steam, but yeah, it's a good song. It's a beautiful song. If you were born before 1985, you didn't need me to explain any of that. You heard something there that just spoke to you. And if you're born after 1985, you either know good music or you're confused by this song.
I guess I'm confused.
I'm kidding. That's all right. All right, let's see what the kids thought. Her picture is pretty simple. Says the word crazy with squiggly lines, and she described that as the craziness of each letter, the individuality of each letter, but each letter is expressing its own crazy. That's what she said.
She actually had some thought into it.
Yes. His is really good. That's I don't know if you can see those stars, but that's the night sky. That's a person staring up at the night sky outside their door, and then there's those stars, but he's really fixated on the big star right in the center of the picture. And the only reason why I like that is he's looking heavenward, and he's looking at the star. The way he kind of described it to me, and I'm not about ready to claim he used these words, but the way he was describing it, I felt like what he was saying is, when you're looking up at something that's just bigger than you, you look at a star, you fixate on a star, and you realize, oh my gosh, I am nothing. Now, he didn't say those words. I'm not trying to pull one of those things where my 3-year-old just told me that he's nervous about the economy type stories. But he said something along those lines. So a couple of comments that I pulled down from our last reaction, which was Pyramid Song. Skinny Sponge said, love the outsider perspective, especially on this song. I believe this is Radiohead's magnum opus. They really hit a peak musically and artistically. This is plain and simple one of the greatest creations ever made. Almost otherworldly, like lightning in a bottle. And Pyramid Song, that's how people feel about it. There's so much going on and so much organization to the madness. It is musically so much more than just I sing something, it has a simple tune, you play your instrument, we'll bring it all together and we'll put it to, it's more than that. And then Erotomania 89, again, I'm sorry if that's not the name you wanted me to read, it's how it's coming up. I'm starting to see a pattern here, or maybe it's just coincidence and me being eager to see patterns, but the fact that Jacob didn't connect that much to more simplistic rock tune like The Bends, while feeling that he could at least on a certain level connect to Pyramid Song, tells me that we're hopefully witnessing in Jacob a slow turning into someone who choose originality over accessibility. As this series goes on, he's slowly getting cradled until he enters the wonderful dreamscape that is Radiohead's music. Or maybe it's just a coincidence, I don't know, but I sense a shift, a good shift. Maybe not the right comment to choose for this video.
Yeah.
Because you lost the shift. I thought this was a really good comment to choose, and then you just crapped on one of my favorite songs.
Don't worry. A shift doesn't have to be perfect. They could go shift, or then go back and then shift. It goes back and forth when shifting. So.
No, you need to do better with your shifting. That's it's important that you do better. Pyramid Song moves me in a similar way that this song that motion picture soundtrack moves me. I just if this is a new song to you for some reason or another, if this is new, motion picture soundtrack, tell me what you think. That's a reminder to me that you are still that. In spite of what we're witnessing with some other songs, not everything is hitting the way it should with you, which means you're grounded, and you're going to have to double the chores for the next couple weeks. The day this video is being released, being posted, it's Jacob's birthday. Happy birthday, Jacob. You just heard a song about death.
Yep.
That you didn't particularly love, but you will always remember it as a song you heard on your birthday. I don't think you will.
Nope.
But it's a beautiful song. I love this song. This is a great album. This is a great band. Comment on viewer requests you want. We'll get to a lot more of those so we can start getting to some of the ones that might not be as popular, but we owe it to you to try. And give us some ideas, some questions for a mailbag episode. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting. Continue to love one another. Keep listening to music together. You're now leaving
the 15th floor.